frankly, command's not on the ground with us. So they don't actually see what's happening. So it kinda feels like the Call of Duty vibes. It's a lot more complicated than that. A lot of shit happening. Like that buddy system for trenches you were just talking about, that already happens, just not uniformity. Like you don't have 6 guys digging trenches, 6 guys fighting Overwatch. Sometimes it's 6 guys digging, 4 guys Overwatch, 2 guys doing something else that is needed or something like that. Because I, you know, you were there, Bongo. You saw at least some of the teamwork that happens op to op. We make do with what we got, and frankly, we don't get a lot.
Me and Mountain were basically glued together as much as we possibly could be, and that's exactly what I would be looking for. That's what I, Bongo, am proud of. That's what I see you guys doing whenever I was inside the operation. But what they see from the sky, because Pops and sometimes Sharp and very limitedly Tuna, like they're just in Zeus watching what we're doing instead of being in the shit. So there is also a bit of a disconnect in the fact that Command is not one of us. That like they're kind of a clique, and I don't like it. I wish that they would, come out of their fucking leadership chat every once in a while to just come talk to the rest of the unit instead of making me fucking do it on my own. It's so much easier to, if you know the people that you're talking to, it's a lot easier to work something out than it is to do what they've been doing and from behind the scenes trying to subtly like, this sounds like fun. Can I let's do an orc thing, and let's at the same time let's put some Tau in there. Yeah, it sounds fun. Yeah, or fucking I can't remember doing the nighttime operations, which was
Yeah.
quickly scrapped because the night visions were shit and we kind of suck at nighttime missions. There's the convoy missions. Those are completely scrapped because we suck at those. But at the same time, it's like, are you guys feeling the same thing that I'm feeling, where there's just change after change after change after change, right?
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, there was a
we're being
lot of stuff.
there's too much being thrown at us at one time. Like that convoy thing. Frankly, that would have gone so much smoother beforehand. We would have dedicated crewmen that already know that kind of shit, that actually stick with the vehicles, instead of, hey, Jimmy John, you guys are crew members today. Have fun, kind of thing.
I'm gonna
If
break
they
in.
really want us to do that.
I'm gonna
Go ahead.
break in with something
You stand
that's
up.
honestly been bugging me. Um,
Levez la main.
so I get that like we're going for the whole Krieg atmosphere, but when the basic troopers don't have access to radios, it's really fucking hard to figure out what's going on. If I have to send my buddy to go run over to command to figure out what's going on, then that's like 30 seconds of me just sitting around with my thumb up my ass instead of doing something productive. If I had a squad lead be able to just press caps lock and say, okay, everybody form up on me, we're moving out, instead of everyone being on whisper except the squad lead, who then yells to everyone that we're moving out, and I'm on the other side of the trench line and I can't hear him. Like, you see what I'm getting at here?
I do. And that is another one of those things that's actually at the end of the list that we were about to talk about is communication. Um, the only reason why you guys have been more or less forced to be on Whisper is because it's nigh impossible to get or send radio calls for the Voxman. And if everybody's on talking and he has to run out of the trench line in order to actually receive a transmission, then that is also potentially vital information that doesn't get to the squad lead in time.
If he can't hear his radio over talking, then he should turn the radio up.
The radio only goes up so high.
The radio automatically starts at like 60. You have to turn it up to 100 manually.
I'm aware.
That's how I survived so long.
It only goes up so high. After a certain point, if you have 30, well, you're not going to have 30 different people, but if you have like 5 or 6 other people having a casual conversation at the top of their lungs, you know what I'm saying?
But, like, that's what the break command exists for.
Or the clear comms, but how often do you actually see that command being listened to?
Decent amount.
I've never heard it
pretty
issued.
often.
Like every time it's said.
Honestly, current squad setup we have right now, my whole squad, if I yell break, 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 everyone just shuts the fuck up. And honestly, the quickest way to deal with the Vox thing is me and Voxman have short ranges, which we already have, and instead of, you know, being on the short range with all these trooper boys as well, he could have an alternate channel that he could speak direct to me, so I know what the fuck's going on. Instead of, oh, yeah, Medicaid, Voxman, Veteran, Squad Lead. Yep. Four comm beads basically being issued. That's it.
So,
but
no, go ahead.
Honestly, though, I do agree at the time, whenever we did change that it was needed. Honestly, I still think if we went a little longer that way, it'll be fine. But, like, it can't be a permanent thing. Like, there's only so much my, will work for.
My bad, sorry.
So.
I guess since we're already on the topic, we might as well just jump straight to it. If you guys get your short ranges back, like I have been fighting for, there does need to be the same amount of radio discipline on the regular squad level that there is on the Vox. So that means that there can't be idle chatter on short range net. Like that, the net is dedicated to important stuff. Like, I know he's not here right now, but I am sure that you have heard Whiskey talking to other people over short range, just willy nilly, just hogging up the whole net, talking about bullshit.
Yep.
Right. That is half of the reason. Go ahead.
So.
Yeah, Whiskey technically quit, so.
No, he didn't. He's just a diva.
True, though.
If I may.
Go ahead. Stand up.
Wanted to ask, I guess, what exactly, just because I'm new, and I'm a little confused. So what was the issue? Like, originally, it was people just talking, chattering
Lack of radio discipline.
Exactly. There was abso-freaking-lutely zero radio discipline, so they would have conversations like me or you were having right now over the short-range net. So it was literally impossible for the squad lead to give any orders over short range. It was just completely clogged.
That sounds really retarded for people to be doing. And then secondly, out of curiosity, just what's the split up exactly between the normal speaking, like the way, the whisper and the standard volume stuff, versus the short range? If I have a short range, does that mean I no longer have just the proximity chat?
No.
It works both ways.
No.
The second that you start broadcasting, it'll also talk in game. Like, for instance, sorry, Blue, and by the way, you guys out here that are not Blue or not on radio channel 82, if you can hear me, stand up. See, I was transmitting.
So many people laid down.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about. I was transmitting that entire thing over 82, so you still talk out loud whenever you're on the radio, which is why if you're going to be doing spec ops like what do you
Spec
call it?
Ops bullshit.
Yeah, if you're gonna go tactical mode, you want to set yourself to whisper and then only communicate over short range, which important shit only.
We're Krieg. We don't do night ops. We don't do Spec
Well,
Ops shit. There we go. That's what
not
I meant.
unless you listen, not unless you read certain books, but yeah.
Yep.
So then the issue becomes that even if we have chatter, which is, I mean, technically speaking, normal for troopers of most military units, then it still becomes a problem because it's still sound that's loud regardless, basically.
Not only are you, if you're gonna like for instance, like I was just talking, you're talking out loud and also into the radio, so the people are going to be hearing you twice from the radio and also in your voice, which is why we prefer that you guys stay on whisper so that you guys can't hear me right now, can you? If you can, and if you can, I want you to pull your gun out. Son of a bitch, you guys are too damn close. Alright, everybody sit back
Yeah.
down, damn it.
But you're quieter
You're
now.
much quieter now.
Yeah.
But that's the point. If you set yourself to whisper, not only will it be harder for the AI to hear you, it'll also be a lot cleaner as far as orders and commands are concerned. You can sit back down, Odds.
I'm looking through TFAR settings to see if you can set the whisper while on the radio, then toggle it off.
I think you
English
actually have to
responsibility.
do that on your own with Control Tab.
Yeah, but
Yes.
I'm looking anyway.
Well, if you find anything, let me know, because that's going to be unbelievably useful.
You might be able to set up some macro keys or some sort of setup for that.
How would you guys feel knowing the rest of your team being the infantry? Can you guys handle radio discipline on the short range?
Yeah,
Give me
done
the
it.
rights to shoot people who don't shut up.
Oh, absolutely. Like you can quote me on this right now. It's on video. Yeah, if people are clogging the net with bullshit like Whiskey does a lot, and I hate to call him out on that, but Whiskey, you know I love you. You're a chatterbox.
I
Which
tap
is
them.
understandable when you're excited.
I get to tap
Interrupting
them.
the operations. of the unit
Yes,
is grounds for
you
execution.
you
Yeah.
do, by my permission, have execution privileges. However, I would
All right.
stipulate
I
that
want
with
everyone here to acknowledge.
first give them a warning. Let them know that they're fucking up.
Oh, I was
give
gonna
them a
warn
chance.
first.
Give them a chance to not fuck up, and if they fuck up again, then it's boom time.
Yeah, of
I
course.
want everyone here to acknowledge the fact that I just got command from the lieutenant, the person that I'm supposed to go through to get people executed. Full rights to shoot people if they don't shut the fuck up. After a warning.
Sir, yes, sir.
And also, no hard feelings if I shoot you. I'm only doing it so we can get the fucking op over with, because I don't want 4-hour ops again.
Yeah, those are a little bit nonsense. Oh god, this isn't even a point, but I don't know if this next op is going to be rough or if it's going to be easy.
I've already got I can bring everyone in here a sneak peek. Pops isn't making it, his wife is. So we're gonna get fucked.
You say that, and hold on, you say that now, but he got called into work for Saturday, so he's not going to actually be here to Zeus, his mission. I don't know if he's going to use the exact one that he and his wife are making, or if he's going to throw something together that can be either no Zeused or easy Zeused.
Honestly, I'm scared either way. Because me and Pops were talking last night. No, not last night, this morning. And his wife was evilly laughing about it. I'm scared, Bongo.
You should be.
So, I got to sort of like get a temperature check from people. When I heard about the unit, I came and like read the rules and had like a short conversation with Pops, and I was like, this sounds like a good time. Sounds like a pretty chill 40k unit. And so I signed up. And now I'm finding out from like Pops and Sharp and the dude who pays for the server but doesn't apparently play with us that they want it to be like more
Hardcore.
like milsimmy and hardcore and like immediate executions if you fuck up. And I'm not down for that. I didn't join for that. And it wasn't part of the recruitment process to explain that, like, yeah, this is a Milsim 40K unit. If you fuck up, you'll get shot.
I'll be frank with you. When this unit, my first mission, the birth of the 82nd in its entirety of the first mission, we were a casual group. Like, it wasn't Milsimi, there wasn't any of that,
Well, I guess
and
what I'm
now
asking for is, like, if it
it's
does
been
turn
funky.
Milsimi, I'm probably just gonna stop showing up. And I'm wondering if I'm the only one.
If I'll speak onto that as someone who's really new. I didn't have any idea of that either. I don't mind it in the sense that I love roleplay stuff, so it doesn't change all that much. But I do agree that it would be, if it gets too over the top important, I can understandably see people leaving, and I myself might have to, just because of the commitment that it takes to do that type of stuff on a weekly basis, or even just once. It takes energy that sometimes people don't always have. It is a video game. I mean, we saw people get peeved over the executions the last time, and I can understand that, because it really wasn't clear at all. They need to change the recruitment stuff, that's for sure.
I do agree, the recruitment post definitely needs to change.
Did
All
you
right,
guys hear
because,
that?
like, I was part of a hardcore Milsim unit a couple of months before I joined, and I quit because I don't have the time and energy for that with all the shit that's going on in real life right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that, though.
See?
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of roleplay and stuff. That's why I wanted to join a 40K Arma unit. I love the fucking lore. I love the fucking game for tabletop. I enjoy the universe. So roleplay is fine, but when it takes a huge priority the way that I feel like at least the language pops had recently on the Discord, like, if that's the push focus, that's way too much to expect from this type of experience.
All right, that's my 10 cents.
Anybody else have any more sense? All
I
right.
have something that's not related, but I'll wait.
All right. I think you guys said it better than I could have. I don't particularly care about out of op activities. You guys can be casual. We can. They're getting on my ass about Anastasi because apparently it's doing harm to the unit, but like that is our time to bond. We don't need to be a 40k Arma 3 Krieg unit all the damn time. We can just be a bunch of dudes in the same server who like to play games together, and one of those games happens to be Arma 3 40k Krieg
Yeah.
on Saturdays at 8 p.m. EST. Right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So the only thing that I would ask from you guys, although I don't particularly ask for 1,000 IQ plays from the regular troopers. That's what we have the Watchmasters for. That's what we have. Eventually, I want to see more people taking up lieutenant roles after you prove yourselves. Veteran troopers, I expect a little bit of intelligence there, but your basic trooper should just you got real. Let me see if I can boil it down. You gotta dig trenches, you gotta watch your sector, and you have to click on the bad guys. That's all I expect out of my troopers. The ones that aren't expected to think, just do. Am I wrong?
Sir,
No.
Yes, sir. Makes sense.
I mean, if you guys, am I wrong at any point? Let me know, because that's how I feel about the unit. Is that the troopers aren't, they don't need to be intelligent. They don't need to make like 1,000 IQ plays.
They're
They need to call out their
troopers.
targets. They need to dig trenches, watch their sectors, click on the bad guys.
Funnily enough, I'm sorry to interrupt again,
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
that's literally being Krieg, is just build the trench, shoot at the bad guys, follow the order, and face one direction. Know that your buddies to the left and the right have the other directions, and you're good. You don't need to be super smart to be a Krieger. The only reason people in Krieg are ever smart is when they get, promoted people are the smart people.
And it is not the trooper's job to be CLS. You will, if you want that specialization, you will get that tag. When people go down, tell the CLS or the quartermaster, hey, this guy's down. Your job's done. It's your job after that is to continue with your gun up, making sure that no more people go down. It's to shoot the other guy before he kills your friends. The roleplay aspect of it, like, the odds you're the hate to say it, you're the odd one out without any D&D type experience, but you don't have to be Kriegsman all the fucking time. You can be Kriegsman on Saturdays at 8 p.m. That's all I really want, is whenever we can fuck around 6 out of 7 days of the week, but whenever it becomes Saturday, it's go time. There need to be get in the mindset of we're doing a mission. These are the parameters. Don't worry about thinking too much about where we're going or what we're doing. I'll do most of the hard work, and then Finn will interpret those and then execute them.
And if I get it, now it works. And if I get it wrong, then I'm the only one who gets shot at that point. So.
Yeah, it's...
Punishment also follows chain of command.
Exactly. What else? Just so it's abundantly clear, I kind of wish that, Wolfgang was here, because he seems to be the one with the most contention about it. The ranking system, from highest to lowest, goes the lieutenant, me, or basically any quote-unquote officer, then the watchmaster, then the senior trooper, then the Vox, and then you guys. The quartermaster is nowhere on the chain of command. The quartermaster, this is one of those spots where what Pops has said from day one, lore stops where gameplay begins. The quartermaster is our word for the medic, and that's it. I don't give a fuck if he's an officer in lore. He's the medic in game.
And to be fair, for him, he's confused. I did some research again because I've been very into Krieg for a while. They used to be officers. They don't technically carry that rank still, even in lore.
I am so over the argument. Like, I can't begin to tell you guys.
Sorry.
Like,
I brought it up because I realized that it is one of those weird things where it's not mentioned super clearly, so it's understandable for people to be confused.
Also,
honestly,
keep in mind that
40K
40K does a bunch of retconning left and right.
Yeah, I was one of the people that said that when that convo / argument started, so I'm aware.
Was I blue?
What he said.
Oh.
Bunch of shit gets retconned.
So...
And then put back in, and retconned again.
I love me some lore, don't get me wrong. If I'm ever... If you guys have an interesting tidbit about a thing that I didn't learn before, I am more than happy to, like, listen. I was in leadership chat with Pops for, like 3 hours past when I said, alright, dude, I gotta go take a shower and go to bed. Because he was telling me about all the different Primarchs, and I was like, I didn't fucking know that. Any left or right. This isn't going to be a problem for you guys in particular, but the rest of the unit, we're going to need more attendance. Like, three ops a month. You guys, as far as I'm concerned, you guys have already made that quota, except for the White Shields and the guys that literally just showed up. Everybody else that has been a part of the unit has done that. I just would like, whenever you guys are talking to them playing different games during the rest of the week, be like, hey, are you going to show up for the op this Saturday? We kind of need more bodies so that we can have cooler things. I want to have an armor section. I want to have artillery. I want
to be in charge of it.
I want to have recon. I want to have really...
Let's have the fun stuff.
Yes, I want to have the fun stuff. I want to eventually maybe get the air back. The only reason we don't have air right now is because apparently the Valkyries are either god tier or shit. And there's no in between. Give Lemon Roos?
Roos, Lehman
Roos?
Roos.
Oh.
Yes, give me a
Lemon
lemon
bus.
roos. Give me a lemon bus.
If you guys can, okay, Blue, there was
Here's
all
your
of
crew.
there was all of one single operation that you and Angel were in the Chimera, and the Chimera survived till the end of the mission. If we can do that, if I'm in charge and you can do that for me in 3 ops in a row, I'll fight for your Russ.
3 ops in a row with surviving vehicle.
Yes.
Could be tough.
Bet.
Considering, actually, this leads kind of into what the other thing I wanted to talk about, if
Oh,
I
go
may.
ahead.
And this kind of came up a bit when you talked about Pops' wife laughing, but, and I understand that they have to build stuff around the idea of people being here, but there's a lot of shit that gets thrown at small groups, it seemed like, on my first mission when I was still the White Shield. The reason stuff might look chaotic to command is because, well, there's way more than like 8 people can handle. I mean, this is almost the size of the last fucking thing, at least near the beginning. That was a lot of shit for this many people
Especially
to be...
3 fucking stegs right on top of each other.
Right. Yeah, that's a lot of armor for 2. We only had 2 heavy weapons, guys. That's
We
a
only
lot.
had 1 heavy weapons when that happened.
You have one
Yeah.
heavy weapon platform and 2 guys manning it.
Yeah,
Right, so,
technically
yeah.
we were only supposed to have, what, 1 launcher?
Yep.
I think we
And
had
how
2
many
for some
shots
reason,
is
maybe.
that
We had
launcher
3.
We only had like 2 shots per launcher, right? Or like something like that. It seemed low. Maybe that was just because they got shot by the Stig, but still.
Yeah, I got shot before I could shoot rockets at it a few times.
Yeah, but those stegs, the rocket launchers we were using during that op,
Fucking trash.
yeah, they were kind of trash. I watched odds hit a single steg like 6 times with crack rockets.
I was there for that. Yeah.
That, frankly, that was ridiculous. It should have died in 2.
It
Yeah.
should have died in 1. It is a fucking armored car.
It's a light armored vehicle. The crack rocket should make short work of that, but it didn't. So like back to what I was saying, if they're Zeusing stuff, could they, like, I don't know if this is a message I can actually ask to have passed along, but consider toning it down based on the number of people that are actually present, and not throwing a 2-squad mission or even a 3-squad mission like that last one felt like, at 1 full squad plus whatever command is actually on the field at the time.
The one thing that I can say in their defense is that this has been a balancing issue ever since Pops has picked it up. It's not necessarily that... How do I even say it? People have complained too often about not having enough to do. The only way for Pops, and honestly Lemons too, because he makes missions sometimes, but we're going to get to him in a second. The only way for them to give us something to do, to give us something to shoot, is either A, make the thing that we're shooting take longer to die, or B, give us more things to shoot at. So we have, through a very long series of missions, kind of asked for this.
Oof.
So, like, having 10-man teams up against 40 dudes at a time is the new normal. And I've been, whenever I see them making the missions and I see the amount of people that they have in a city or at a roadblock or at a gas station, I was like, hey, do you want this to be a firefight or do you want this to be a road or a speed bump? Because
Yeah,
a speed bump is
Hey,
like
look at
6
Look
guys.
at the channel.
I was
Look
just
at
about
global.
to say that also.
I see it.
Last zone. It wasn't so much the amount of stuff as much as it was the amount of armor specifically that seemed over the top. I don't mind dudes, you know, that's feels Krieg is trench warfare, having a large volume of targets, or even if it's not really trench warfare, but
Guys,
just
a little
having
professionalism,
people
please. Thank you.
having
Sorry.
people that charge. It's all good. I don't really care. What was I saying? But so the three stags are like the biggest point I can like bring up is that early on, that's a lot of armor, and just in general, I feel like even replacing each of the stags with it. Well, overall, but like there were three of them tanked up right at that bridge point. I think is what it was, or something like that. I'll be honest, I don't remember. I haven't looked at the recording recently.
There's three of them.
Yeah, that's huge versus 5-10 guys in replacement of those two excess stacks. That's manageable. Good shot, good covering fire, people watching. We have trenches for a reason. That can do stuff. But the fucking main battle, like, or the main, like, cannon shots, fucking blast radius hitting people in the trench sucked. Because there's nothing I can do if I'm not the rocket launcher guy.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't really solve the issue of people not having something to do if only one dude is the one that can solve the issue. I'm just meat, which is Krieger, but also, like, that doesn't solve the thing that sounds like people have been complaining about if it's vehicles. It needs to be troopers, and only if there's enough of us there would they up vehicles to be that ridiculous. That's all.
Honestly, those stegs are probably the lightest armored thing we can fight. Like, with any
And they
sort
wrecked.
of cannon like that. Yeah. That's... The way you can disable them as a trooper is either, you know, A option or B option if you get permission to. A option, you get up close, you throw cracks at it. B option, you get up close and you chuck a melt-a-bomb at it. Or C option, you can, in theory, shoot out all of its tires and it'll force a decrew.
Or
Except
you
That
suicide
requires
bomb
trying
it
to
like I did.
outmaneuver.
that hasn't been working. I have done that on several occasions with these ones.
Again,
Spoilers,
in
by the
theory.
way. Shooting out all of the tires doesn't always work. They'll just drive around with fucking no tires.
Yeah, I saw that during my white shield training. It just kind of kept rolling.
Yep.
they'll eat a bunch of crap grenades too.
So I think
Only sometimes.
the anti armor problem was also compounded by the fact that our rocket launchers were absolute fucking aids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Those
that
ones
is
were
that.
like
I don't
one-shot
think
shooters.
that is your fault. I think that that's just a miscommunication from the damage and the model. Like,
Most definitely.
the-
Yeah, that's not anyone's fault. That's just a shitty compounding factor. I agree.
Plus, you gotta keep in mind they're from two different mods.
exactly.
Completely separate mods. The ICP stuff versus this is only war stuff. I've noticed there's a difference in damage model wise. Like those guided AT missiles from the Akatrans, you see how they fucking wreck fucking RHS stuff and all that. It takes like 4 or 5 missiles to kill a steg with those things sometimes, if you don't hit it just right.
Right.
So there's a damage difference somewhere that's not being translated right.
Or armor.
We've sort of wandered onto a different topic. Is there anything else you need to cover, Bongo?
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, there are several things.
All right, let's get back to those then.
How would you guys feel about me switching the Antistasy over to a more true to the unit style of equipment and tactics?
No.
I'm fine with that.
What? I'm
Duly
sorry.
noted, Blue. Let's hear from the rest of the peanut
Could
gallery.
you do a
I
better
wanted to
explanation
actually
for
speak
those
about
that are
that. I
new?
just remembered that.
Okay, so
Anastasi has been pretty loose in terms of like what gear you're allowed to run and how you're allowed to run it. And he's talking about moving it more back towards Krieg style stuff and like uniforms.
yeah, the only stipulations that I have for your uniforms and your kit, as far as Antistasy is concerned, is you're not allowed to be Chaos or Xenos, and you're not allowed to be a Space Marine. Other than that, you can use whatever the hell else you want. Anything else that's in the arsenal is fair game.
talking
And
about like different backpack types or what?
oh yeah, you can be a freaking. I would
Guardian.
hesitate to let people be Sisters of Battle again because it's still power armor and it's still overpowered as
That sounds a
fuck.
little stupid.
Odds.
Yeah.
It was
Odds,
so fun.
but you can grab a fucking Bergen backpack if you want. The freaking I think it's an Apex gigantic backpack from the base game.
Ah.
Like I do not give a single fuck about what your equipment is so long as you are not A, Chaos or Xenos, or B, a Space Marine, because those just first of all, I'm probably going to shoot you on accident. Second of all, Space Marines are just way too overpowered.
Second of all, if you accidentally shoot the Space Marine, it does nothing.
Exactly. Unless I have my bolter pistol. My bolt pistol, whatever the fuck. So that is one resounding no as far as switching back or changing it over to a tried and true Krieg Regiment style simulation. Can I get some yays?
Or
I'm fine either way.
And then the resounding no's.
Negatory, Chief.
We already got you, Blue. How about Hugo? How you feel about it?
Never played, so I don't feel like I'm able to comment on this.
Don't you have
Yeah,
the
you
Antistasi
don't
tab?
really have.
Yeah, but I've not hopped on any time, so I
Oh.
can't really comment on it in my opinion.
It also doesn't help you have 3 people here who regularly do Antistasi instead of, our whole group. That's like something you need to ask the whole group, not just.
Oh, trust me, I'm
3.
gonna be. This is going to be the worst night of my life because I'm gonna have to DM everybody that isn't here about everything we talked about. Or even better, I'll just record this video, put it on YouTube, and then send a whole bunch of fucking links to it. That'll be so much easier. Anybody skittish about being on YouTube? I've got like 13 subscribers.
I'm one of them.
I am also one of them.
Oh,
I'm about
thanks
to
for
start
all your
posting
pity.
stuff that we do. So
Also, can I speak on something that was mentioned earlier that I totally forgot on?
Absolutely.
With all due respect, Command needs to stay out of Antistasi. That's what we do as team building and for people to, get to know each other. Like, I probably wouldn't be as good of friends with Odds if it wasn't for that. Just us goofing around and having fun with stuff and experimenting. And, saying, oh, this gun's actually really good against that. Or, hey, you see that Bradley? You want to go steal it? The bullshit that we do.
You want to go cheese the
Like-
system, go crawl underneath of it, and look up?
I don't care to, make it a little more like what we're supposed to be doing. Like, we actually sit down, brief, do things in a super orderly manner. Because, frankly, we need to do that in Anastasia anyway, is to actually get anything done.
Yeah.
But there's no need to take all the fun out of it. Like, let the dudes, if they want to be a fucking Cadian with a flamethrower, even though that lags the server, probably not flamers, don't take those.
Yes, please, for the sake of my frames.
Or a Cadian with a, what would be ridiculous?
plasma gun?
No,
No, that's normal.
a galvanic rifle.
Yep. You guys can
Then
mix and
be a
match
Cadian
kits.
with one. Like, that's your time to experiment with stuff that you don't get to experiment with usually. Like, using a, what the fuck are they called? A Cantriel instead of a Lucius
I
and
love.
stuff like that.
I want the Cantrell so bad. I do have special permission from. What time of day? It's not a scheduled thing. It's just whenever I have time.
Whenever, usually it's Fridays, Saturdays, or Sundays. That's the 3 days it can happen, usually. If we don't bully him into throwing the server up for us.
The problem this week has been that I have had to deal with this, and also I have some personal stuff that's been going on as well, so I haven't had as much time to just hop onto freaking Discord,
Oh,
say,
no,
hey
no.
guys, here's Antistasi, have fun.
It's no problem. We don't blame you or anything. Like, you got your own personal life, we got ours. Like, I've been hunting for trucks, so.
Nice.
But Command needs to not worry about Anastasi, because that's our time. That's the infantry's time to do stuff, not Command's time. Like, that's the time to see, hey, do you want to try squad leading? And if he says yes, he gets to try out squad leading. And if he does good, then maybe he might, volunteer for an op or something like that.
Or we
That's time
could
for
be
people
looking,
to do stuff comfortably.
because there's literally zero pressure. If you fuck up in Antistasi, we have every advantage in Antistasi. It's
Exactly.
unbelievable. It's just our proving ground.
Exactly. Thank you. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's all I'm going to say about that for now. You may take the floor again.
If you guys want certifications, if you're looking for heavy weapons, if you're looking for CLS, quartermaster, if you guys want recon, if you want to do Vox stuff, even though Kills is not going to be teaching Vox anymore for some reason, I know exactly what reasons, because freaking the dudes that he does have that know how to Vox still don't know how to Vox, however, like 5 ops later. Like, yeah, engineering, well, sapper stuff. Talk to literally anybody on the server that has the trainer tag, and then they'll come with you. Please, a little bit of professionalism. Command is going to see this, and I'm going to get reamed.
Just cut it out.
I don't know how to video edit, so this is going to be raw.
Oh, I do.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Don't be afraid to talk to us about getting certifications. Once you guys get trooper status, and as long as you're not reserve, we can hook you up with whatever training you want so that you can do that stuff in op. Like, I think that Blast Zone and Odds, you were the last 2 guys in the probably like a month and a half that had even asked to do anything but trooper stuff.
Hint, hint, nudge, nudge.
So
I want to do recon stuff.
I think that I might be recon trained, but I'm gonna have to talk to Kills about it because he's the quote unquote expert.
Yes.
Careful you don't piss off the COG boys.
Listen, the COG boys do their own thing.
We don't talk about them here. They're not part of this conversation.
Yeah, we just let them do them. Let them worry about them. Speaking of let them worry about them, the next thing that we want out of the Discord server, like on a very, very real basis, or a very, very real note, rather, is we want constructive criticism on the mission feedback. I'm sure you guys have seen Blitz's feedback, where he lists the things that he likes and doesn't like, but not a whole lot of them have solutions attached. Right?
So are you? Yeah. So to clarify, do we want stuff with proposed ideas for solutions in our feedback or not? That part is confusing.
That is exactly what we're looking for. Whenever we hear for instance, I remember on not odds, Blitz saying that he got to shoot stuff, but he was bored. There was too much walking. I really wish that I had Discord up right now so that I can actually quote him and not sound like an idiot whenever he sees this later. But that just because there's more walking, I mean, there's also other stuff to do. So it's not going to be all action all the time. But there, in his feedback, there wasn't. Maybe we could shorten the travel. Maybe we can have a Vic to go from place to place. That would have been a solution to the problem. Otherwise, if you're just pointing out something bad, something you didn't like, that's just whining. We can't fix whining, you know? Also, while we're on the same topic of missions, anybody that has creative mission ideas, please throw them in the mission ideas section. That's how we got the TAWOP.
Are there
Go ahead.
are there any mission types that have already been tried that people just have decided to avoid, just so we don't repeat mistakes?
There
Uh,
seems to be a general attitude of anti-PvP.
Another
Really?
one of the points that was going to be brought up later when you guys were more accepting of my point of view. uh, um, Other than the general attitude of PvP bad wrong, we've tried walking simulators with the Valkyrie Down, which I'm going to have to rename on my YouTube channel, Valkyrie Down, because that makes a lot more sense. We've also done the Convoy Op, which I think a few of you were a part of. The Convoy clusterfuck we did at the fucking nighttime. That one, Convoy Ops, apparently don't work, or at the very least having mines in the middle of the road of a thing that we're supposed to be tactically moving in the... It was just a bunch of bad decisions all at once. But if you have an idea, feel free to place it down. I'm not here to stifle anybody's creativity. If you have an idea, just let it be known. One of our mission makers will probably get to it, honestly. And on the same topic, if you want to try making a mission, just do it. Like this is me giving you permission to try making a mission. There is rules up in the info section of the Discord. I'll have to ping it or quote it later, but as long as you follow those exact rules, and most of those are so Orcades doesn't have a conniption trying to load it on the server, then you got free reign to make something. You can be creative. Do you guys have any questions? Anything about what I might have been saying about Mountain?
So just to be clear, as someone that's set themselves in forever DM by choice, because I love building shit for stories, as long as we follow the rules in the Discord, it should be good to do, rules following, of course, whatever then, and just try and build a mission.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the stipulations is we have to be Krieg. There was, who was it? It was actually Sharp and Kazak. Their first operation with the 82nd Krieg Hellfighters was the one that Soda did. Remember that, Blue? The PDF bolt action. Blue ain't even here. So I don't know if it was a miscommunication or if Soda just thought he would get away with it, but it was a good op. We had a lot of fun. Everybody that was there had fun playing the operation. The problem was that he did a PDF themed operation on Krieg Night instead of on, Fun Op Day. Let's get Mountain first, and then I'll get Blazon.
So to be clear, we can make ops for other things, because I know that this is a Krieg regiment and all of that, but like the idea of playing other things would be enjoyable to other people. Yes, no, just to get a taste from others here.
Yes.
Variety is the spice of life.
I'm up for it. It's just that Saturdays is reserved for Krieg.
Main night is Krieg night. Got
Exactly.
It. Makes sense. Okay.
Hugo? Aus?
Yeah, we're fine. Absolutely. It's fun to do some other things once in a while.
The smoke.
Are you still awake?
Barely. I'm smoking to try and keep myself awake, but I'm still here.
Okay. Are you still tracking? You picking up what we're
Yes.
putting down?
Yes.
I totally missed the conversation up to this point.
Damn it, Blue! I
was
swear,
going
if
to
you
my
weren't the
camp.
Watchmaster and so important.
Do it. I fuck.
You heard him. So,
That laugh scared me.
like, that... Okay, that is acceptable outside of op. There's no hard feelings, Blue, right?
No, I told you to do
He
it.
quite literally told me to do it. I see how the execution
I did
thing
a fucky wucky.
would be contentious in op. The problem, from my perspective, and you guys can correct me, the problem lies with the executions is that there is the potential for abuse, right?
Yeah, I mean, always
See.
power corrupts, absolutely.
So that means that the only people that have that power need to be trusted by the people who are getting exercised to not be abused, correct?
Correct. I mean, we could also always just, if we're, since the argument seemed to be lore accuracy, why don't we just also allow people to frag superior officers when they fuck up? I'm kidding, but seriously.
I'm not.
Or am I?
Or are you? Is this a threat?
Well, there
Only
was
if you do
conspiracy
something stupid.
a few ops ago.
What was that odds?
There was a conspiracy
what?
a few ops ago to do exactly that.
Wait, what? No, wait. Are you talking about the? Were you here for whenever we murked Prophet?
No.
No.
Oh, that was just me and Blue then. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, Blast Zone.
I know this was already touched on earlier, so I'm going to keep it really brief. If Command wants us to trust them, maybe they should, like, actually hit the fucking trenches with us.
Oof. Do you mean like a certain other LT you happen to know and love?
Yeah.
Bongo best LT.
I don't know you and I don't love you, but I'm sure that you're alright.
We don't have
I've
a
had
problem with you up at Bongo. It's whenever you're leading the chart that's the problem.
But Bongo has no fear. Okay, so that's the character that I play. Going back to the roleplay thing, I need you guys to pretend to be Kriegers for like 3-4 hours of one day of the week. That is the character that I play. Bongo, is no fear. No fear. Bongo. I will
So
I will
loose trigger
hardly.
finger.
Yeah, like I'll be in the front, even though I shouldn't.
No, I mean like he shot me.
Who did?
You shot me.
Oh no.
Not in these
We
ops,
don't
but,
talk
you
about
know,
that. That
you
was
know where.
that was the day
You know
before.
where you shot me.
Shh. That was the day before Krieg Night. It doesn't count.
All right. That's all I want to say, and I can just leave it there.
I would
Honestly?
like to expand on it. Blue, go first.
One thing I would like to see out of Command that I don't see, like that last stop, right? My whole reasoning for not digging a 360 trench was I was expecting Command to hold our rear. Because, you know,
that was
Command
the
has
issue.
better guns than us, frankly. And a vehicle. And
Okay.
Skitari were with them.
Okay.
That was
Command
my
is
whole
also
reasoning.
the rear.
Exactly. So I was expecting them to, hey, if we hold a 180 from the front of this building, Command will have our backs. And then Command did not have our backs.
Well, if
Like,
I'm gonna go watch
honestly
his
felt
recording, but
let down whenever we ended up getting flanked by Command.
so that was either a misjudgment or a miscommunication on your part, Blue. When he said 360, he meant 360. Like, Command isn't actually supposed to be doing anything. I, for all intents and purposes, should just be staying back at spawn. I don't need to be with you. And
Then why play?
I know that, but Command was basically on our ass that whole op. So I was fully expecting them to, you know, hold our rear at least a little bit, because they were set up behind us by maybe 200, 300 meters at most. Like, I look at my map before I make concrete decisions like that are going to affect how things are going to play out. Command was close enough that they could have at least made sure our flanks were not being flanked. That's the whole reason I made that call. Because if I focus 180 front instead of having 2-3 guys go for the full 360, then I lose those 2-3 guys on my gun line. And we needed the gun line front and center. So, yeah.
I understand where you're coming from. What I'm going to say from here on out is don't rely on command to do anything infantry related.
Also, I was relying on Skatari, but I obviously shouldn't rely on Skatari, so.
Negative. Skatari does their own thing. If it happens to help us out, then that's more power to us, but they're not actually there to... They've got their own goals, and most of the time they line up with ours. Make sense? But
Yeah.
yes, another lore-accurate thing. Don't rely on superior officers. Thank you, Mountain.
So, I guess that's my bad, but it's also command was close enough they could have helped as well.
Don't
I'll
get...
take partial blame, but I'm not gonna take the full blame.
Alright. The next point of contention, which I might get a whole bunch of flack for later on. First and foremost, blue force tracking and red force tracking are off, and so are the crosshairs, as I'm sure you'll notice on our server right now. My changes reflect, well, the blue force tracking is still on miraculously. It should not be on, but blue force is off. The red force marking is off, and crosshairs are gone, so it's going to be a little bit harder, which means that it's going to be more important for you guys to actually stick together, and that is half of the reason why you guys are getting your short ranges back, so that if somebody gets lost, you can bring them back to the fold. On a similar topic, so how about that PvP though? And I don't mean like a one-off operation. I mean, since command is basically abandoning us, I had the brilliant idea of offering them a roleplay space where they don't need to be command anymore. They can be in our lore, the unit's lore, how we fucked up and we killed the diplomats for the Tau. They get... I was thinking, and I'll still have to bounce ideas off of them, but how would you guys feel about having a hunting party after the creek?
As long as it's advertised before the op, hey,
Agreed.
there will be PvP in this op. So that gives people who don't want a PvP op the chance to not be there. Because I know that's not some people's cups of teas. It's honestly not mine, but I'd still show up. Because, frankly, this isn't a PvP unit.
Notably... Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Can I...
Stand up.
I got...
Stand up.
So, I'm gonna just be real up front. I think that is probably the most toxic way to introduce PvP to the unit. Command is already pissed about how the Tau shit went down, and giving them free license to shoot at us when they're already frustrated is not productive. If you do want to introduce PvP, it needs to be something where there's like a spirit of competition and like some like friendly rivalry rather than we're already frustrated with you, and so on the next op we're gonna hunt you down with Tau gear and shoot you if we find you.
Kind of like what we already have with the Skatari, except we can actually shoot them back. Kind of thing, Blast?
Similar, yeah. I laid out ideas for an op in the Mission Ideas channel where there would be two opposing teams running through separate courses of objectives, and sometimes their objectives would like clash. And I think like that's a healthy way to do PvP, where it's not the main focus of the op, and it's not like deliberately targeting the players. The players are just in the way for the other team to complete their objective.
Okay.
And
Mountain?
I have ideas to that effect too.
Notably, very similar to what I was going to say, is that based on what I've seen, not only is that bad, 'cause if Command's pissed at us, they're going to take it out on us that way, and that's just going to increase toxicity. I don't think there'll be people that will be too happy on the other side, like those that got involved in that argument last op, at being shot at by Command, like by the people they're pissed at, because that just looks like another abuse of power to me, especially if it's someone like Tau with superior weaponry stat-wise. If Command was, at the very least, you know, if they were in, like, heretic crap uniforms, and there's a limited number of them also versus us, maybe? But that's giving, they're already going to have us outnumbered with the NPCs on their side, so just giving them a hunt down or something like that is shitty. And then, yeah, the op idea of, like, the way that Mechanicus and Troopers never get along in lore. Mechanicus doesn't get along with anyone. They get pissed when people blow shit up because they want to study it, but operational orders for the regiment is blow it up because it was in the hands of heretics. You know, the Mechanicus is wonky that way. Stuff like that would be great, where it's competitive, but from the same side competitive. The way that, like, squads of troopers get competitive about who can complete their objective first, even when they're on the same side. That type of stuff sounds awesome. I think would be a great way to not only have Command on the field with us, but also have that camaraderie built through friendly competition.
Blue, you're standing up.
Hold on, I have a burger in my mouth.
Better fucking choke it down, son.
I wasn't expecting him to stop talking so soon.
Rip.
Well,
So, here, I've toyed around with it in my head and stuff for ops like that. The problem is, Command's already shooting at us. Like, it's already made people mad that they're shooting at us, first of all. Second of all, they're already shooting us. With a purpose.
What do you mean?
Like, if we, instead of Command, if we got, like, the AdMech ways to do something like that instead, that would be better. Then Command can instead swap out with Troopers and then let, like me be, the Lieutenant's box, or like the Lieutenant, or whatever they want. Like, I don't mind giving Command a break if they want a break. Like, I want a break, but no one really steps up to try being squad lead, except for, like, you and Lemon. So, I don't mind giving them breaks for stuff like that, but honestly, Command shouldn't be shooting at us other than the reasons they're already shooting at us. Okay, I sit.
So, I was talking with Kills and Pops about it, and Sharp was going to be brought into the fold later on. My idea for said, I mean, this is still not set in stone, so don't take everything that I say from here on out with a grain of salt. My idea was that they, first of all, no fucking artillery. That's the worst thing in the whole world, is to just get blown up from fucking something you can't find. You don't know where it's at, and there's no way to find it unless you happen to clear everything in the area. So, no arty. They giggled when I said no arty because, you didn't say no air assets, but that's also bullshit. My stipulations for them were that they get to be whatever race they want, and I'm pretty sure they're going to settle on Tau. They get one life as that team. That's it. And if we manage to kill them, then that's it. There's no more Tau for the rest of that operation. But they get to, like, remote control the other, if we happen to be fighting cultists, they'll be running around as cultists. Or if we're fighting orcs, they'll be running around as orcs. Something like that. Is that palatable?
I like the one life thing, but instead make it 3 lives, and if they die, they die. Instead of letting them remote control things, because that would essentially make it where there's, like,
infinite lives?
Like what? If we did full command staff, like 4 or 5 Zeuses, and sometimes servers don't like that.
Yeah, that would be
So
bad.
instead, make it 3 lives each, and then, you know, if they all die, they all die. If they don't all die, then they don't all die.
I
Or
suggest, if I may, sorry.
stand up.
I suggest, if I might add, limited lives on like the Tau hit squad, if that's what they go with. But also, once they're done, they're done. They can come back to command for the Krieg, maybe. Don't let them continuously just use other enemy assets. The rest of that should not be stuff that they can touch or fuck with, because and I know just from what I've seen after only having been here for a week, that at least someone in command, I have no clue who, but it's just the truth of statistics, that someone in command is going to use their Zeus power to fuck with someone that shot them while they were in the Tau. They are going to get revenge with it. It's gonna piss someone off. They're gonna focus someone. It's just not gonna be friendly. Just remove the power option that's available there, because absolute power corrupts absolutely. I said it once already, I'll say it again. You can't abuse that type of shit and expect people to stay or follow the rules. And there's already discourse over the abuse issue with the bolt. So doing something like that, it's just gonna exasperate the issue.
All right. That being said, on the execution thing, there was 2. There was a whole 2 people that died, and my death was scripted. I don't count. Yeah.
Yeah, his was script. I was in on it. I just didn't say nothing.
So
Didn't know that.
yeah, I was supposed to walk up with a thing in my kit that I wasn't supposed to have, and he was supposed to find it. And at first he didn't, so I had to. I don't know if y'all heard it. I was like, "Are you sure?" And then he looked up and shot me.
Is that what that was?
That's exactly what that was, because he didn't fucking see anything wrong.
So you were teaching us why basically that was just a teaching moment for new people. It's why you shouldn't have extra shit.
Exactly.
Basically.
Or why
Okay,
you
well,
don't
that
need a
makes
bolt
sense.
pistol as a trooper, or why you don't need a freaking melta charge as a trooper, or why you don't get epinephrine and morphine as a trooper. You don't have CLS perms. You don't have the zapper perms. You're not a freaking commissar. You don't need a bolt pistol. Like those types of things. Also, I don't know who did it, but back in the Tau Op, somebody was using CS gas. Still have no idea who it was. Probably Angel, but we'll never know. On the topic of the abuse that we have always had that power, especially in lore reasons. Like the commissar's entire job description is to shoot friendly troops to improve morale, right?
Which is fine.
So, and he hasn't done that a single time. Sharp and Pops, whenever he was also commissar, neither one of them have shot a single one of you guys. Yes?
Okay, this is like a gigantic pet peeve for me as a fucking lore nerd, but the purpose of a commissar to execute people is a fucking meme. It's an overblown 40k meme that doesn't actually address the truth of the rank. The job of the commissar is to maintain discipline and morale, and he is empowered to kill people as part of that. It's not his main job description. And
Although
it
they
drives
definitely
me
shoot you for cowardice.
fucking nuts that whenever people play commissars, they think their whole job is to just blue on blue for any slight transgression that can easily be explained by players making a mistake. That's not their job. Their job is to maintain discipline and morale and use executions as a tool in their toolbox.
Can I respond to that really quick? Or
Go
rather
for
ask
it.
you a question? And out of all of the times that they had the opportunity, how many have they actually used the commissarial duty to shoot somebody?
I don't know, because most of the time I'm not sticking with them.
The answer is 0. I am with them pretty much the entire operation, and they have not shot a single person. Kills, or Tuna, you guys know him as? Him shooting Lemons and then Wolfgang was the first time in this unit's history that somebody has been blue on blued in op for something that they did. I get shot repeatedly sometimes because I'm a little bit of a smartass. I understand it happens, but that's not like you fucked up, guy. You need to die. That wasn't an execution. That was just a playful go fuck off type of
Love
thing.
tap.
You know? Yeah, exactly. So in this unit's entire history, and I've been here, I think that the unit started 3 weeks before I joined. So I've been here almost since the beginning, and that has never
Well,
ever once been used.
technically, when the unit started and when we actually had our stop is two different numbers.
What was it? I think the very first members were actually Pops, Lemons, and Franklin.
Murdoch, Angel.
Oh, they came after, but like
Oh,
the
okay.
first 3 ones were Pops, Lemons, and what's his name again? Franklin. Yes, Mountain.
That was also the thing I was gonna say. Partly it's the commissar, but that makes more sense. I mean, they haven't really shot people that much. It doesn't seem like. So as much as there's the talk of it, it does seem like it's respected. Shit, now I forgot what I was gonna say. Fuck. Oh well, it'll come back to me.
Blue.
I have no problems with a commissar shooting a soldier at all. If a commissar shoots a soldier for like a big fucky wucky, that's one thing. But the lieutenant shouldn't be executing people. The lieutenant's job is to use the resources he has in order to get the objectives complete. Not you did a minor fuck up. I blab. Because frankly, that's how it came across as. Like a super minor infraction. Like it came off as lippy, and maybe if he got disciplined after op from it, or just yelled at a little bit, or something, he shouldn't have been blapped. Because that
Which
wasted
guy?
a ticket. He should have been
Wolfgang.
Wolfgang.
Because there was 2 executions. There was Lemons, and then shortly after there was Wolfgang. I don't know which one you're talking about. I want to be
I'm talking about
concise. Okay.
Because even if he did get a little lippy, the most that the infantry uplifting that thing says for that is like a flogging. And even then, like, not even a flogging, like 2 whips across the back or some super quote unquote minor like that. Like, if after op they have a sit down and talk about it, or he gets disciplined in a different way, like he's only allowed to be a trooper for the next op or something like that, that's fine. Just don't go blapping people for, yeah. Don't go blapping people for minor things like that. Like, everyone gets lippy during ops. Even I get lippy whenever someone says something fucking stupid. Or, like, I sometimes get lippy with you whenever you want something done and I can't get that thing done right that second. Because of one reason or the other. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we were gonna shoot everyone who gets lippy, every single person here would probably be shot 2 to 3 times in as many ops. So, like, it's one thing if the commissar does it. I'm perfectly fine if a commissar shoots me. Woo, commissar! But if a, oh god, I'm gassy apparently. If a lieutenant turns around and blaps someone for something super minor like that, it makes me, it personally, it makes me feel less like I'm here to have a good time, and more that I'm in like a weird prison system thingamabob, where the most minor things can get me killed for no fucking reason. That's how I feel about it.
All right, before you forget, Mountain.
Um, yeah, so like that was something that I had been thinking too for a while, was that, I mean, that's the commissar's duty, and technically speaking, every officer has that power, but maybe limit it to the commissars, because having the squad leads or lieutenants do it is, it's a lot, I feel like, to give in that shape, whereas it seems a little unbalanced for where it's too focused on the lore if we let the lieutenants or the sergeants or anything like that take place.
In rebuttal to both of your points, I have had executional permissions this entire time. I just have not exercised any of them, except for, that one. It goes back to, who do you trust with that power? I have never actually shot anybody for any offense. Blast Zone, that one time that you asked to pick up a Tau weapon, I could have, well within my rights, executed you right there, but I didn't. I told you abso-fucking-lutely not, and then we moved on. So, however, if you would have asked again after I told you no, then we would have had problems. But that's,
Of course.
yeah, you got the warning first. The thing that happened with Lemons is that Lemons was what do you call it? Lemons was supposed to be glued to Platoon, and he didn't. He thought that he could do a better job running off and helping the infantry, doing doing the medic thing, and instead, Tuna and Commissar Sharp got pinned down by a steg, and they brought the fucking house down on him. Or rather,
not to interrupt you, but the Lemons thing already got, talked about, and it's pretty public what happened with them, and it got solved as a misunderstanding.
Okay.
So you don't have to go over that.
I need
honestly.
to go over his headspace at the time was that, where the fuck is Lemons? Sharp is dying. I'm running out of band-aids. Where the fuck is my medic? He's supposed to be here. He never got told to go anywhere else. And then that's...
Really?
Yes. He never got told to go help us. He ran off to resupply.
What Blast Zone just said.
I mean, I knew that they talked it out and came to an agreement about like what should have happened, and were like made nice with each other, but I didn't know what the actual reason was. I was standing like 4 feet away when Tuna came up, found Lemons, and just shot him without saying anything.
He said something. I watched his recording back.
I didn't hear it.
But the headspace that he was in at the time was, holy fucking shit, where's the medic that is supposed to be attached to me at all times? I need him now, and he's nowhere to be seen, and I can't get a hold of him. So he ran over, found Lemons, and shot him for dereliction of duty. Even though, they went over it post-op and said, yeah, I didn't have a short range, I couldn't actually hear you at all. So, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, it was a miscommunication, yeah. But in headspace at the time, that's why, is because Lemons was supposed to be with command, and got no orders to come to us and help us out. If we needed another quartermaster, we should have radioed to command, hey, can we borrow your quartermaster? We need another one. Like that. And then he would have been free and clear to come join us.
Wait, what's that? I'm sorry? I forgot that I'm in Armid right now.
Oh, hey, Kills. I was just talking about your headspace during the Lemons execution.
Oh, what do you mean? What's going on?
The one... Wait, Blue. The one where, Lemons was supposed to be glued to you. Sharp was bleeding out in front of you. You were bleeding out. And you needed your medic, and he was nowhere to be found, and you couldn't find him on the short range. He was just fucking gone, and he didn't have orders to go anywhere. So you found him and shot him. But
Stay firm on that.
and then after post-op analysis, you guys worked it out. He didn't have a short range. He couldn't hear you calling for him, even though he should have been there in the first place. But still, like, that's already been worked out. Also, yes, Blue.
Back to the point I was making. I do believe, executions for big fuck-ups is perfectly fine. Like, if Mr. Hugo over at Whitelist, I'm gonna use the White Shield for this example. If he picked up, like, a Chaos gun, and he's found out to have a Chaos gun, blap him. But make it perfectly clear, and, like, perfect low Gothic, that what they're being executed for, because some people might just feel like they just got executed for no reason.
Then, just so I can point this out, pre-slotting, I had 2 rules. Follow orders, stick to your dudes you're supposed to stick to. Those are the 2 rules, and I said if you didn't follow these rules, you were more than likely to be executed. And I said it multiple times, clear as day, and it got ignored. Therefore, that was the execution. Now, the real punishment in other units is instead of an execution in game, one and done, it's no longer whatever a problem. What other units do instead is they actually just ban you from participating in ops. And depending on the seriousness and your position, it can be as simple as 1 op, or it can be, I've seen some punishments go up to 8 ops.
Let me be sure, or let me be clear. We don't want to do that. We barely want to execute you guys.
Yeah, I really don't, but at the same time though too, I also want it to be known that they're 2 very simple rules, and it's really not hard to do it.
I don't think anybody is like upset with the rules. We're just looking for ways to make the process more transparent. So it doesn't feel like, whoa, wait, what the fuck just happened? The lieutenant just came up and shot the medic. What? And it's like,
I talked with
and then shot the medic because he had disobeyed a direct order.
I discussed with Lemons, but right before I executed him, why I was executing him. And that was a me and him conversation.
He has it on his recording. Were you set to whisper or something?
Yes, because I only wanted Lemons to hear me.
But the point I'm trying to make is it's confusing for everybody else when the medic just gets shot by command and we don't know why.
That's like if if it was a commissar doing, he makes it very loud and very clear. You are in violation of blah blah blah. You are getting blamed for this. So that every other trooper around him knows, oh fuck, I better not be caught doing that. Uh-oh.
Because at that
you
point...
You sullied your hands, God's men.
Yeah, at that point, it's like he's being made an example of, rather than just a random blue-on-blue killing.
Yeah, that's how it felt coming across, and that, that rubs people wrong. If you make it like this big display instead of a one-on-one conversation, but have the one-on-one conversation later, just to clarify, then it becomes even more role-playing and immersive, because you're making an example of people for fucking up. Like, oh god, I better not fuck up kind of thing. And then it also, makes it very clear to the person being shot why he's getting shottied up.
So you basically want me to embarrass you in front of the entire unit, is what I'm hearing.
No.
Yes.
Well, that's basically what that is. If I make the problem I have with you involving the whole fucking unit, like, that is embarrassing as fuck. and I don't like putting people in a position where they're getting embarrassed because they didn't follow one of my 2 simple ass rules. So I like to prefer to handle that kind of shit one-on-one so that they're aware. And then, on top of it too, he was in my squad at the platoon level, and it didn't really involve any of you guys. And Bongo watched the recording, and there was multiple times where I informed him, this is how you're going to do things in my squad. And
Yeah,
it was ignored.
Now that we have the context, I don't think anybody is like actually upset that it happened.
Yeah, we're
Well,
not
the part
upset
that
it
I'm
happened.
upset about is that I was accused of abusing it when, again, I had said black and white, clear as day, at least 3-4 times. Follow these rules. They're 2. Stick to your unit, stick to your squad people, and follow the orders that you are given. And as long as you do that, you will not be executed. And so that only left one of 2 options as to why I would execute somebody in the middle of a mission. And it's not like I'm coming up with 100 different freaking rules. It was 2. So, and the backlash I got in op due to it was, quite frankly, rude as fuck. And no, it's not how it works. Because again, like I said, in other units, they wouldn't do that. They would just flat out ban you from participating in further ops for as long as they felt that, was deserving of, punishment. And as Bongo said, we don't want to go that route. We would rather it be one done, we can continue on.
If I may, what I'm hearing, and forgive me for speaking and perhaps out of line here, but what I'm hearing is that there was perfectly good reason. People didn't know it in game because they didn't think that he had, because we don't know that he disobeyed that order is the thing. So there's that confusion where we're not sure why it happened. Learning about it later makes a lot of sense. So I think if people can agree to just withhold judgment on why stuff had happened and then trust and then recognize that if someone abuses it and we learn later on that there was no good reason, then we do accusations. We shouldn't start with it, though, the way it was done in game. And we should also learn to recognize that, as at least when you're in the basic trooper role, you don't get told everything. That's not your position. As Bongo mentioned earlier, you are a trooper. You're not expected to make big brain plays, but that also means you don't get told the information to make those plays sometimes. That's all.
So Kills, we went more or less through the checklist. The only thing that I don't think that we have a real consensus on is I have it on the recording, all of their suggestions and what I proposed for the PvP element. The overall the overwhelming goal of the PvP isn't to have, command get their revenge for a bunch of asshole troopers, because no, that's no. The goal is that in order to, how do I say it? You guys have anybody played like Postscriptum or like Squad, anything like that, like the other first person shooter milsim type of thing? So you already know that when you fuck up, it's the if you make a mistake, the consequences are usually very deadly and very quick. And you have to either learn from your mistake and get better, or you're just gonna get frustrated and quit the game. So, the mistakes that we have been making, like not covering 360 even though we're being told to cover 360, and also counting on command to do anything, that type of Blast Zone, if you wanted to talk, because Kills isn't in the game, you're gonna have to actually speak up. Right?
I have my TFAR disabled, so if he's speaking using TeamSpeak, then I should be able to hear him.
No, he's not, but he's like in-game chatting, like the text function.
Oh god, please. Okay, you guys, for rule of thumb, if it's something important, don't type it. Like literally go up to somebody and use the voice function, because the chat more often than not gets ignored because just there's so much other shit going on. And if you divert your eyes to go and look at a little text thing, and if it's a big old block of text, more often than not, it's just going to be ignored.
If you guys ever need anything to tell Zeus, by the way, you can just ping him. I think the default button is Y. Yes, that button. If I hear that, I'm gonna start popping heads.
Love you.
Listen, Blue, I'm...
But
What, you gonna kill me again?
Probably.
as an aside, the whole execution thing, that is just our preferred method of doling out punishment without it being excessive. I would rather have it just ripped off like a band-aid, one and done. All right, we had our quick discussion 1-to-1 about what you did wrong, and I want to see improvement so that way it doesn't happen again. And then that way it's smooth sailing. You know, yeah, there might be some hurt feelings for the couple minutes, but the thing is, though, is that you still get to participate in further ops. I don't want to ban people for simple things, but that is a standard for a lot of other units. I don't want to do that. I would rather be told, hey, dude, this is where you fucked up. I'm going to execute you now, and then just clean slate it. So, you know, I do apologize, you know, if people felt like it was being abused, but, you know, that was, that's a thing that Lemons has been aware of for a while, that Command has an option to do, and I'm just the first person in Command to actually utilize it.
Makes sense. Moving on, please.
Yeah, we talked about it ad nauseum at this point. Oh shit!
And on to
we
the PvP thing.
Yes, the PvP. My idea, the Tau. If you guys do decide to dress up as Tau, get 1 life, and they're going to be independent for, so they still have to deal with Op 4 in the meantime. They get 1 life, and they're not allowed to have artillery. Right?
That's fine.
Or air assets.
Or
That's fine.
We also said they get 3 lives, not 1 life.
Okay.
So that way they can, you know, do
Get
some fun
Armad
stuff
if
as well.
Armad happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Like we
sounds fair.
want it to be fair, just, you know. Yeah.
Don't be an entire squad of rail rifles, or I don't know what weapons
God,
exist in the
that
game.
would
but
suck.
don't do that
Actually-
type of shit.
Actually, the only person who is actually decent at that long range is myself.
and I can damn near promise you, I'm going to be catching most of those.
Yeah, I'm gonna be looking for the lieutenant, and I'm gonna be doming the lieutenant a lot.
I guess
mean-
what I'm saying is that's a little bit related to what we've been worried about, though, is that not all, but there is a bit of a distrust on the side of the troopers on whether or not Command will abuse and bully some of the
Oh,
folks
no.
that might be lower down.
We're coming up with an ROE that's fair. So if you guys are watching all of your sectors, we'll have to approach it highly tactical.
I guess.
In
that's
which
my-
case,
Sorry.
well, no, it boils down to, we want you guys to watch all of your sectors, pay attention, notice when people go down. Noticing when people go down is a good indicator. Hey, we're getting attacked from that side. There's been more than one op where several people lay there bleeding out for 3 minutes and nobody even notices because they haven't stopped to look around.
Me
and-
last op.
Yep, and it even happened to me as the lieutenant. So, but like, you know, it boils down to, you know, if you're hearing shells and stuff like that, you know, it's always good. It's always good habit to call out, you know, med status. I mean, yeah, it kind of clutters up the airwaves, but it lets you know who's still up and who's down. It also gives your medic and his assistant CLS time to run around the trench line or whatever or not, and patch people up so they can keep focusing on covering their sector. And that's kind of like that's part of the reason why we gave Bongo this list, because we want to see these changes, because if these changes were brought about, we could do significantly more difficult missions, and it could be a slugfest, hardcore intensity, a lot more than just the 5 minutes intensity and then the 20 minutes, like, okay, now we got to provide all this medical and stuff like that. Like, it's, like a high level of intensity for, is fun. A lot of people say it's fun. And
Go ahead. Sorry, you're not done.
yeah, and we keep hearing about people complaining about walking simulators and everything else, and we're working on ways to prevent that. But at the same time too, though, there's points where you do have to walk, and it's just how ARMA works and how mission making works and everything else. Otherwise, you shoot one bullet with our AI mod, the AI within half a click will converge on your point.
Right. I guess just my worry really is that you talk about the balance thing, and I don't know enough, but for that last op, you're talking about having it be balanced, but I'm seeing that as that's balanced from your, or at least some of Command's understanding of balanced, maybe? I don't know. It just, last op was a shit show where it was way too much versus way too few people. And so that's where my concern is on the idea of this type of like PvP stuff. It's not that I don't want to do it, it's that I'm worried that someone's version of balanced versus someone else's is vastly different. There's a scale of like, there's easy balanced, medium balanced, hard balanced. You could be balanced on the more difficult side to where, yeah, technically it's possible, but you have to be perfect with your shots for it to be possible. That's not the type of experience I want.
With last op, our first objective that I directed us to was actually the most difficult. I took us to the hardest objective partially on purpose, and that was to see how well you guys would actually work as a team under hardcore stress, because usually I am Bongo's Voxman. I usually don't pay attention or give a shit. I am more worried about getting transmissions, sending transmissions. That's my one job. And, providing assistance to Bongo. That's been mostly my only job for a while now. And so last op, when I was lieutenanting, I wanted to put you guys through a stress test to see exactly what you guys would do and how you would do it and handle it. And yeah, trenches definitely needed some work. That was rough. That was rough going in there and trying to navigate trenches, because if trenches were a crop, you guys would have been rich farmers.
Okay, that makes more sense then. I definitely sounds like I just maybe have a skewed perspective with that being my first op then.
Yeah, usually we try to go for the quote unquote smart objective, but I knew that there was a Nurgle Astra Militarum, or not Astra Militarum, Space Marine. No, it's Space Marine. He got artillery shelled. Yeah, I think I showed you that, Blue, where the artillery shell landed on top of the building and took it out.
That was fucking cool.
Yeah. But, there was, that's why, it's... It also didn't help the fact that with the way the AI mod works and stuff like that, we also brought a lot of the dudes from the town onto our position. And that's why when the mission creator kind of gave me a few different things, I had specified, hey, create a 360-degree view. And if it wasn't for Skatari providing a southern flank coverage, we would have been swarmed 360 degrees, even worse than what we were. So it just kind of it shows that there needs to be work on the teamwork aspect and where people should be located in reference to their particular job and stuff like that. Um, and it just that's something that we don't know needs to be worked on until we see the mess up. So from the perspective of Lieutenant last stop, I got to see a lot of that stuff. So I brought it up to Bongo, I brought it up to Thin, I brought it up to Pops and Sharp, and everyone else that needed to know, and we discussed about it. So it's one of those things like I don't know. It's frustrating, especially when I had to bark orders at Thin to tell White Shields dig trenches and stuff like that. Like usually as White Shields, I want you guys worried about, digging trenches, providing security. I mean, you're the lowest of basic troopers, and not to put you down or anything like that, but that's kind of like your role. And seeing some of the White Shields standing around down dudes, unless you're requisitioned by the medic or something like that, you should be doing those particular jobs.
All right. Has we've already I mean, I've got the input from these guys here about whether or not the PvP is viable. I'll upload this and I'll have you guys watch it from the command's perspective. I also think I'm just going to link this video to everybody else, and I want to see their perspective on it too, because if we are going to have like a Tau kill team on our asses just as a distraction force, and you guys have a very, very limited amount of spawns, at which point, it was already mentioned in the video, after you guys lose all your lives as the Tau, you guys come back to us. Maybe that's just a thing we can work on. That just ideas to be thrown at the wall. That's all.
Yeah. Just so you know, there's already been an established specific ROE for me. Max distance I can have from you guys is like 1,300 meters.
Okay. That being said, I think that we've gotten all the conversating done with that we're going to get out of today. I'd like to finish up some BCT, and then we can talk more about this in, I guess, one-on-one later on.
Sounds good to me.
I'm probably gonna have a vote later. Don't know how to do polls, but we'll figure that out later.
Well, you could always type something in the Discord and then put two icon thingies.
All right. Without further ado, Os, let's get this started.
All right, I'll get the hell out of here.
Talk to you later.
All right. If you're not, the White Shield needing BCT, come here.
He needs to know this as well. So what I had
Yes.
originally planned with this was is this what you guys are planning on doing as a trench line, like from here on out? Because how am I supposed to? Okay.
I don't like it.
I need to explain this real quick.
I don't like it at all.
Just listen, okay? As, infantry boys, we always get the problems, right? Of, let's say, like that Steg with the odds, if you, like last op. Remember whenever it hit our single trench? Like the single little slit trench piece? And it fucked all of us? It literally dropped like 4 or 5 people out of the squad. All at once. This is what I've dubbed a catcher. So basically what happens is, let's say a tank shell's coming at us, right?
I can actually arrange that.
It catches on the size of these. Getting 5 of us, and maybe it'll only get 2. Or let's say a guy throws a frag at us. If it hits anywhere on the front of these, or the front of this, it's either going to drop into this hole and be completely harmless, or it's going to be on the other side of this thing and be completely harmless. Plus, you can sit right here and shoot through right here, shoot you know, do that nifty little where you can sit a little higher up just by using Control W, you can aim here. If you need to be down, you just Control W down. Not Control W S. You just, and this is only if we have time, mind you. This isn't a oh my god, like a triple setup, like go, do it now kind of thing. This is, you know, if we have time on our hands to just set up something that's going to be a little more effective at catching
So
explosives.
if we're defending against an assault, we would use these.
Yes, if you were
Okay.
defending against an assault, this is what you would use.
Here's something I wanted to point out back when we were in the last op. Do you see how Odds is putting all of his trenches so that there's space to walk between them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They need to overlap slightly on the edges so that fire doesn't leak through, but there always, 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 always needs to be walking space between them.
Yep.
We cannot have these honeycombed, completely 360 enclosed trenches. Those are not trenches, they're death traps.
Well, it's okay if it's honeycombed as long as you have the walking spaces in between said honeycombs, like a, oh, what is it called? Kind of like, you know how honeybees do it, where they are able to cross and do all that fun stuff, and be able to get to this part of the hive by doing this. Yeah, same concept.
So basically, nobody should be sitting in the honeycombs. Like, nobody should be sitting up here in this part
no one should be
and
in
like
this. You're gonna get
blasting
bugged.
through here.
You need
There
to be
needs to
behind
be
these.
open space. Like the two key concepts behind building a trench line are you have paths to flow through. Either the enemy attacking your trench flows through here to control their flow, or you have places where you can run through easily to assault out of your trench line. The other key concept is overlapping trenches so that there's no gaps for enemies to flow through or for enemies to shoot through.
So my question then is this, because I am seeing two things that are a little contradictory. So do we want this, or
so
is it?
The point of this bit here is to catch ordnance.
No, I'm sorry. Let me re-clarify. Specifically, this point here, where there's no space between these, is this level of overlap fine?
Yes.
As long as
you don't
nearby.
cross this.
Right.
You
Okay.
don't cross this. This
as
is
long
like
as
this is
a
a
lane,
flat line.
Like
this right here is a flat line
between the trenches. If you extend the trench, because these two short trenches have basically combined into one long one that doesn't take as long to dig.
Okay. So what I'm understanding is just think actual trenches, basically, where there's actually walking space. Like
there need to be lanes through the trenches. Like this is perfect. The way Odds is doing this right now is fucking fabulous. There's a clear path through. There are clear firing positions for the lane points that you can peek through. And there's an overlap here between where he's setting up this line in front and the lines in back.
Like, it's okay if, you know, like our front line, if it's crisscrossing like this, but that's our front, and we're not expecting to cross there anytime soon.
What I would do...
That is perfectly fine. But if we're, you know, expanding forward, you need to have your walking space so that you don't go, oh, shit, now I'm skylighted.
The way I would lead a lane is like straight through here. Yeah. Basically, you want two dotted lines that are staggered so that the gaps in one line are covered by the dashes in the other one. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay. Yes. I'm a very visual person, so I like to imagine.
They're digging trenches.
This makes sense.
Okay, so you see how Odds is leaving a gap here to walk through? That's the gap in the dotted line. And it leads on a diagonal into the next trench line. And if we were going to dig another trench line after this one, what we'd do is we'd start with short trenches. Excuse me, whoever's in front. Hugo, can you move for a sec?
Everyone back up this way. Let's give them some room.
So let's say we're turning this into like a 360 trench position. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dig a trench back here. Somebody want to come help me just get this finished quicker?
Let the Watchmaster do it. I already know what he's doing.
Jeebus H crust, we're digging so fast!
It's beautiful. And then what I would do is to cover off this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig probably a big trench so that we have ramparts, but I'm going to offset it from the other two. So let's see, something like...
don't forget, time on build.
Time on build is important. Don't dig big trenches unless you have to, and you have time to do it.
That's why I always dig a short one first.
Most effective trench to build if you're taking fire is the short trench.
Short trenches are your bread and butter.
So
you can chain them together really effectively to make longer trenches.
So what I've been doing, from my perspective, is I will start out with a short trench, like just as a standard, and then I'll build a bigger one in front of it, because the shorter trench covers me while I dig the bigger one, and I want to use the bigger one as the actual main trench line.
Okay.
So the short trench here
is less than perfect.
So,
but since it's on a road, I don't actually have a problem with this trench because it's blocking the road from any oncoming vehicles. But we want to leave lanes open like here.
You want walking lanes. You want your highways.
Right now, this gap represents a gap in the trench. So what we do is we walk forward a couple feet and we dig a trench to cover the gap.
So that way you don't have your gaps open.
We don't want long sight
fire.
lines.
Yeah, there we go.
So did what I was saying come through at all, or was I talking to myself because I might have forgotten I was on push to talk?
No, your explanation of digging a short trench to cover you while you dig the big ones is great for building an entrenched position under fire.
Notably, it did sound like you might have cut off a little bit early.
Nobody should be sitting behind this trench. This trench exists purely to block off this gap. These are the trenches you're sitting behind, because these are the trenches where you're protected from the most angles.
Like, let's say, and also, speaking of digging trenches under fire or on a potentially hostile area, let's say Blast Zone here is my battle buddy. I'm gonna dig a trench, he's gonna cover me. So we go out here, we do our thing. Oh shit, the Watchmaster just said dig a trench. I go here, short trench, he's gonna cover me, make sure I don't get shot, and if I'm getting shot at, he deals with it. And then this becomes our trench until a time that we can start pushing it out. Because then now I can cover this side, he can cover the other side. And then, you know, we start swapping off, okay, I'm gonna start digging this way. Oh, he's gonna start digging that way, and I'll cover him. So on and so forth.
The great beauty to these overlapping systems is that you can extend them as deep and as long as you want, as long as you keep them staggered.
Like,
just for brevity's sake, I'm gonna get this on the recording. I'm gonna go into Zeus and you know, look at your fucking tunnels real quick. Your rat warrens.
Everyone get out of the rat warrens.
Perfect.
But does that make sense? Somewhat, at least. Enough that it works?
That's going to be one of your main jobs as a trooper, is trench building.
There is an understanding that if we're digging trenches under fire, they're gonna be sloppy. Like, we don't expect perfect neat trenches while we're being shot at, but we always need places that the troops can flow into if they're falling back, or out of if we're assaulting a position.
So basically,
Or like,
just follow some basic rules when digging trenches to ensure that there's not restricted movement within them.
Yeah.
AKA,
Yes.
imagine
Make
a
sure-
real trench line and how they have space for movement.
yes, always make sure also that those apps you leave for, people to walk through and stuff, that serves the dual purpose that, let's say, the Medicae, or the Quartermaster in this case, needs to drag someone back instead of carry someone because carrying leaves you more exposed and taller. If you try and drag over those trenches, sometimes it makes people disappear and go through the world.
Odds
Yeah,
way
we
you
don't
So
want
didn't.
to
instead,
send
drag
anybody
through
to
the
the
gaps.
wolf.
That's my grandpa's.
Dangerous.
Yeah.
Your grandpa
Or,
was
like,
probably
leaving
me.
a clear path for the Medicaid to make it to the guy who